everyone, welcome back to Teens Talk. I'm Reem, and today's episode is all about personal growth, how we change, learn, and become the people that we want to be. Being a teen often means figuring out who you are, what matters to you, and how to handle all the challenges that life throws at you. Some days it feels like you are moving forward, learning new things about yourselves and growing. Other days it can feel like nothing is changing, or even like you are taking a step backward, and that's completely normal. That's why I'm so excited to have Dorsa Khaksar here with me today. We are going to talk about the real stuff, how she has faced challenges, discovered lessons about herself, and taken steps toward becoming a better version of herself. If you have ever felt stuck, unsure, or like you are still figuring things out, I hope this conversation reminds you that personal growth isn't a straight path. It's a journey, and you are not alone. Let's dive right in. Hey Dorsa, how are you doing? Welcome to Teens Talk.
Hi Rim, I'm very well. Thank you for having me today.
It's a pleasure having you. So to start simple, can you tell us and describe your personal growth so far in just 3 words? What would they be for you?
Well, in 3 words, I would say resilience, perseverance, and hope.
Why did you choose those 3 words?
I believe, so first of all, I chose hope because any person needs to have a belief and faith in themselves in order to achieve something. And other than hope, you need to be realistic as well. So you need to be perseverant. You need to have perseverance and continue with what you're doing. And you need to be resilient against the challenges and things that are not going in a way that you want them to be.
Can you share a moment or experience that really made you reflect on who you are or who you want to be as Dorsa?
Well, I'm in grade 11 now, but back when I was in grade 9, I was selected to go to an exchange program. I was very excited, like any other person who have been given this opportunity. When I went there, the first few weeks, it was hell for me. I thought that I'm not fitting into the community there, and I'm no one without the places that I'm used to or the people that I hang out with. However, that was the time that I started reflecting the most. It may sound cliche, but reflecting is the only help that a person can give to themselves. So this was the time that I started looking at my own values other than school and maybe other than the people or the places that I'm dependent on. So I believe the exchange journey for me was more than a cultural and an academic exchange, but it was an exchange of information between myself and myself.
Oh, cool. So what's the picture that you drew about yourself after that journey?
Let me tell you about before the journey, how I would view myself. I came from Iran as an ITID student to this academy, and what I try to do is to give my best in everything I can, and I saw everything in an academics only. Well, I did have other aspects and hobbies to spend my time on, but academics was my core, I would say. But when I went to exchange, I started looking at values that I have outside of those books or academics, and I started seeing myself doing more activities, playing more sports, participating in more events that are not necessarily related to school. So that was one thing that I discovered about myself, that I'm more than just a person reading books to do exams.
Yeah, I understand. So maybe do you think that personal growth relates a bit to self-care, like if you don't really actually take care of yourself? Because you mentioned you were someone who focused only on academics. So did you have that side of you taking care of yourself actually and taking care of who Dorsa is, or you think that you didn't have it that much, or maybe now you have it, or what do you think about that?
Of course, if I want to answer now, self-growth is directly linked to how you take care of yourself. And this care can be known in different ways. People may see it in spending time with yourself, watching movie with yourself, doing a skincare, dancing. All of those can be a way for you to flourish your soul so that you feel better. But other than that, it's actually accepting who you are with your flaws and your strength, because you're not a person that is one-dimensional. As an individual, you do have a lot of aspects to yourself and to your character. And personally, I would say that self-care is very important. And I would describe self-care as understanding where you're making mistake, be sad, maybe cry, be depressed for a few days, but knowing that it is a phase that you're giving yourself time to digest these emotions, and then you get back on track. And this is another thing that I learned after that journey and coming back and again communicating with the people I knew, was that I give a space to myself and to my emotions, knowing that I'm a normal human and I can express my emotions very well. So this is what made me understand that self-care is directly linked to success and all of that.
Which types of self-care do you have, like, or you have as Dorsa? What do you do to take care of yourself?
I would say the way I take care of myself is to release my energy in a way.
Okay.
Because as a teenager, and
You have a lot of energy,
we have a lot of energy and we have a lot of thoughts going on.
Exactly.
So you need to find a way to release these energies. They may be odd, but I do dance a lot.
Yeah.
It's just a way for me to release that thoughts and energy through the movements that I give to my body. But another things other than moving, so I do play badminton at times. I became a bit energetic. I run around a lot. But other than that, I would say journaling is very good. I do not do it very often, but the times I do it, when I write, it makes you feel very good. I do try to find time to spend with others, trying to talk to people, and most of my time in my free time, I would say, goes with talking to people, spending time with people around me and all of that.
So I want to now to let you reflect, but in a different point. So maybe what is one lesson, or maybe what are some lessons that you have learned in the last few years that made you very surprised from yourself?
Okay, when I left my parents at the age of 13 to study here, I had a completely different view of myself. I was very optimistic in the beginning.
Yeah.
I used to sleep, and before I sleep, I used to see myself achieving the things I've achieved, like maybe in grade 8, I would say. But after those times, after I've been here for a year or two, I started losing that hope and believe in myself that I'm very good, that's why I'm achieving something. And it mostly became like whenever I achieved something, it was a relief, not an achievement for me. Everybody used to celebrate me, congratulate me, but it was just like, it is my duty to do it. I should do it. And if I don't do it, it's a failure. And if I don't do it in the best way possible, it's also a failure. So this is the thing that I started growing a bit with. But I think it's the beginning of grade 10, so last year I started looking at myself again as an individual, not as a student, not as a daughter, not as a friend, but just as myself, Dorsa, who I am to me. Because this is very important. If you don't understand your needs and yourself, you can never understand someone else's need and their I don't know, the way they interact, the way they want you to act, and the way you make connections. So it's very important for you to know yourself and know your values. And values can be known in different ways. But I started losing hope in myself a bit, even though I tried to keep up the character. And it's, again, sounds cliche, but many of the teenagers and individuals go through this because they believe whatever they achieve is their duty and not an achievement out of their efforts, I would say. But I still kept going. I did give up in the beginning. For example, I wouldn't participate in a lot of things because I would think that, okay, this is like the other one, I'm not getting in and all of that. But I believe this year became I passed the milestone that I wasn't paying attention to. So now I believe I can do anything if I believe in myself.
Exactly.
But that belief in yourself depends on how you're treating yourself and how you're giving yourself a space to make mistakes. So for the past few months, I would say I achieved things that I wouldn't think I would achieve in this stage of my life, in terms of maybe fitness, academics, hobbies, just having good friendships and relationships with my parents. All of those became a bit bold after I started losing those negative thoughts and just thinking, I'll just do it for the sake of doing it and I'll see what happens. and this surprised me a lot to see myself. I'm capable of doing things if I believe in myself.
So, personally, I believe there's something called, or actually maybe I made it, which is the principle of trying. So maybe you touch that point without directly touching it, which is that you should try, and then whatever you get, you will get. I mean, there's
Exactly.
nothing wrong with trying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now I would like to ask you, do you think that you have been through times where you felt that personal growth felt a bit difficult or frustrating, and maybe how did you handle it?
Well, personal growth and self-acceptance is always difficult and challenging for any individual, I would say.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those people. If I want to share my own story, I would say there have been a lot of times where I didn't feel like I'm growing at all.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the point that many people give up on believing in themselves.
Yeah.
Because you will never get the results immediately.
Exactly. Yeah.
So if you failed something,
Mm-hmm.
it was because it's how I view life.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
because maybe you missed something out. Because there is no way that someone is not able to do something if they want to do it. Again, it sounds like a cliche, but these cliches are the points that successful people use to win. And this is what makes them different from other people. Because many people would tell you, if you study, you score well. If you train, you will be a good athlete. If you practice, you'll be a good artist maybe. But no one really does that to the best way possible. So this is where I try to keep these points in my mind, that if I didn't achieve something in my personal journey, this means that I need to try more. Because I believe that chance is not a concept. If they tell you you're lucky, it basically means that you tried so hard to get that luck.
Yeah,
because there is
exactly.
only two possibilities. Either you don't get it, and the second way is that people think you're very lucky. But that luck came with practice, came with blood, sweat, and tears of your loved ones, and people around you, and maybe the people who don't like you as well. So this is what makes personal growth, is accepting who you are without thinking that, that other person thinks of me this way, looks at me this way, believes I'm this, but are you really that kind of person that they think?
Yeah.
So I did experience time where I used to think that maybe I'm that person that others think, why they're thinking of me in that way. So it is hard for any person. But I've never been an individual that stayed depressed over something that happened to them, because I will never allow myself to feel down in a way, because I don't see personal growth only for myself. If I have personal growth, I can help
exactly
my friends, and especially my family and my little sister to grow as well, because I want to be someone that inspires others in a way. Even it happened at times that people do not like what I do, but I still believe that inspires them as well. Yes. Even if I'm doing something that does not satisfy others, maybe in
it's important
sports,
that it satisfies you.
Maybe in academics or hobbies, it is satisfying me.
So that's the point. Exactly.
That is the point. And I'm still inspiring the ones that don't like me as well, or don't like what I do, because there must be something that they don't like, so they try to get it.
You mentioned before, it caught my attention, which is you said the people that don't like you, they kind of become an inspiration for you. So maybe can you talk more about this? Because I think for many teens, it's actually this point, it stops them from achieving what they want to achieve. So maybe can you talk more about this?
I believe at points when you're a bit different than others, you become under the spotlight. So it's hard for some people to see others in a spotlight. And I'm a person that if someone achieves something, I will cheer them louder than anyone. Even if I don't know them, even if I don't like them, if they achieve something that is really valuable, I would be like, let's go. That is what they are supposed to do, because even if I don't like them, if they don't like me, we are still living two different lives with two different stories
and goals and everything.
Goals. So I would be happy for them, but because I feel I have enough. I would say I have enough of self-awareness to not be diminished by what others think. Maybe if I was a bit younger, when I was in grade 9, maybe before I go to exchange in grade 8, I would feel down if someone told me something that I didn't like about myself, because I didn't have that self-awareness. But now
You
it doesn't
understand your
happen.
weaknesses and
Exactly.
strengths,
It doesn't happen. Even if someone points out my weakness, at points I would be happy if they're not mean, because there are people who try to act as your friend
to help you to grow even more.
exactly.
Yeah.
So this is what I would say. I reached to a point that for this age of mine, I have enough self-awareness to understand my own weaknesses and strength, and have belief in myself when possible and when needed, and maybe sometimes a step back, because I know that that thing is not mine and it's not made to be mine.
Exactly. So maybe if you want to look about mistakes now, how do you think you balance learning from mistakes and also staying confident at the same time? Because many people, they see themselves as soon as they fail in something, they just stop. And you talked about it before, I
Exactly.
think. Yeah.
I need to go back a bit in time. So I'm an older older daughter in the house. So stereotypically, I need to be the person that teaches my younger sister how to act, because if I do something, she will repeat.
Yeah.
So I grew up with that mindset in my heart, not even in my mind, that I should be a role model for someone that is younger than me, which was my sister. So whenever I would make a mistake, I wouldn't allow myself to take it too far. If I made a mistake today, I would be a bit sad for the same day, and later I would just be okay and continue with what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And at times, almost every time, I would force myself to get back on track and just learn from that mistake and digest it. And now it became much easier. So if I fail in something, if I get rejected in something I applied for, I would just accept it, because I believe maybe it wasn't for me and it wasn't the right direction for me to go. So I would say that I do express my emotions to myself. I give myself space, but I would never put myself in a position to be depressed or sad or disappointed for a long time, because I know that is not all I am.
So how do you stay motivated to work on yourself when things feel so overwhelming for you?
Okay. Well, there are two quotes that I always keep in my mind when I feel like I do not have the energy and the strength actually to move ahead. Firstly is the future is what you leave behind. So I would like to expand on this, because I realized that as a teenager, I do want to make the most of my life as a teenager, in my teenage life, because I would never experience these years again. So at times I just want to leave everything and just do what my heart says, what my mind said, do impulsive actions actually. But what reminds me of the people who are successful is that they do things when no one else is doing them and seeing them. Exactly. So what I would say is that I will try to do my best, because I believe the future that I'm going to live in is what I'm doing now. That's why I believe in the future is what you leave behind from yourself.
And what's the other quote?
And this other one is, if I want to achieve something that I've never achieved, I need to do something that I never did.
Oh,
because if you always stay in your comfort zone, this is a time that you will never grow, and you're like jumping on the same spot. That's why you are not getting anywhere. So I believe that if someone wants to achieve something, they need to do something that they've never did. Because if they were to achieve that thing, this means that their method was right, the way they were doing it was right. And if they're not achieving it, there is something wrong in the process.
That they need to work on it.
Yes. And I'm not saying that if something is not genuinely made for you, it's not in your destiny. Okay, I do not believe in destiny. I believe destiny is what you write. But generally, if not something is meant to be for you, then it won't be. But there are times that you need to do things that you've never did.
You should just try.
Exactly, you should just try. And as a person, you would usually know where are your gaps?
Yeah.
You just choose to ignore them and make this illusion that it didn't happen because it wasn't for me. Yes, at times it is not for you, but there are
other
many times
yeah.
that it is for you and you're missing those gaps. So that's why you need to do something and more to
Yeah.
achieve what you want.
So, do you think personal growth is more about those small daily changes or those big life moments, and why?
Well, I believe both.
Yeah.
Many
Why?
people would answer small, gradual steps that makes you reach self-awareness.
Yeah.
Okay, but I believe for a lot of people, it may be a sudden change that happened in their life that makes them realize who they are. Okay, maybe even to reach that big thing and big change, you need to take small steps. But overall, I would think that you need to have small actions in order to reach self-awareness. But for some people, maybe it's a big event, maybe it's a big news that they hear and they feel it is like a spark that hits them that yes, this is who I am, and then the small gradual steps begin.
So you talked about the people around you and how they kind of make an inspiration source for you, right? So now I want to dive more into this point, okay? So I want to ask you, how do you think the people around you, so maybe friends, family, maybe the teachers even, or anyone around you, affect your personal growth?
It is super important. I would say more than you knowing yourself is how you're choosing the people around you.
Yeah.
Because they are the ones that are influencing you in different ways.
Yeah.
And when you're very close to them for a certain time and then you become a bit separated, maybe because of your traveling or something, you see their behavior in yours. So the way you talk, the way you act is what you got from those friendships and from the family. It is super important because they are the one that you're spending most of your time with, and you become like the people you hang out with.
Yeah.
Even this is cliche, but it is true. It is true when you see people hanging out with I wouldn't say bad people because different individuals describe good and bad in different ways.
Yeah.
But having different goals in a friendship for each individual is very important because they may help you carry yourself forward or they may pull you down.
Yeah.
And this is the same thing for family. If a family is supporting in any way possible when you fail, this is where you get the motivation and the goal to reach what you failed before. Just because you know that there is someone out there who believes in you. That's why you started believing yourself and you feel worthy of love and respect. And this is where you start respecting yourself because you know that your loved ones accept you and respect you like that. So it is very important.
So what can you say to those people who, because I can see from your conversation that you have a very supportive family. So what do you say for those people who they are stuck in an environment where they are not supported, we can say, so their family is not supporting them? What do you think? Maybe just like a talk or...
I don't think I'm in a position to make a comment about that. But I have witnessed times where there were individuals in my life that did have problems with their parents or their loved ones or their guardians. It is very hard for them. It's another barrier they need to overcome, and it's harder for them to get self-acceptance and self-love. There are two things. I saw two things that happens to them. Either they find a way to accept themselves, grow themselves, regardless of what their parents think, without relying on other individuals because they're desperate for respect.
Yeah.
But I've seen people that they do rely on other people, then they're desperate for love, attention, and all of that.
They get lost.
And they get lost, and they get lost in themselves and finding who they want to be with. So I would say that just try to find yourself without relying on others, because always finding love in someone else and finding respect from someone else makes you lose a bit of yourself that you know already.
Actually, I would like to add to that point because I think some people, they can, that inspiration should come firstly from you, right? So then if you are not trying to change yourself and to grow, then you're not going to grow even if the people are supporting you. So I think everything starts from you, exactly. So if you just rely, as you said, on people, then you're not going to achieve what you want, even if you do have a supportive family or from a supportive environment.
Yeah, I do agree with that. And I also believe that if you're in a room and you're better than everyone else, then you're in the wrong room. You need to move and find the place that everyone is like you.
Or maybe better than
you. Obviously, you need to make yourself better, because whenever you see yourself that you're better than everyone else in an environment, then just know that you're not in the right place.
And then you might become selfish and you might become also so proud. So lastly, and to conclude this conversation, I would like to ask you, what do you think an advice you could give to other teens who want to grow but they feel they are unsure where to start?
Okay. Again, I'm not in a position to advise other individuals. But I would say, just try. You would never know. You would never know what happens to you. And I'm telling you, everything I did and I achieved is because I just tried without... Sometimes don't even look at description of something. Don't look deeply in it, because the moment you look deep in everything and you want to be a perfectionist, that is where you're not growing.
Okay, thank you so much, Dorsa.
This
was such an incredible conversation. I really appreciate you being so open and honest about your experiences. And actually, it's not always easy to talk about personal growth, but that's exactly what makes these conversations very powerful, right? So to everyone listening, I hope you found something in today's episode that resonates with you, whether it's a lesson you have learned, a challenge you have faced, or just a reminder that growth is a journey, it's not a race. And remember always that it's okay to take small steps, it's okay to stumble sometimes, and it's definitely okay to ask for support along the way. We are all learning and growing one step at a time. Thank you once again to Dorsa Habsar for joining us today, and thank you all for turning into Teens Talk. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, share it with a friend who might need to hear it, and leave a review to let us know your thoughts. Until next time, take care of yourselves, be kind to your mind, and keep the conversations going. This is Teens Talk, and we will catch you in the next episode. Bye bye.